Welcome to Coach's Corner, Cav fans. Thanks for joining me again on this Tuesday night, a really chilly Tuesday night. Probably 30 degrees out for practice today, but at this point, we're getting off a little sooner. I think we got off at 5:10 today, so everything's a little shorter, less hitting, and really, basically, we want our guys to be fresh and feeling good on Friday night, and but it's been a little colder than normal here lately. So, quick review now. We're going to review the St. Henry game. We're going to talk about the Marion game coming up and have a little spotlight with all the guys that helped me with a lot of the things that you don't maybe really notice with filming and stats and of course Mike taking care of this, the Coach's Corner and the CavFootball.com. Just thinking about our season so far this year. I was thinking about what I was going to talk about today. The other interesting thing with this season, other than the weather, has been how many close games we've had. And so if you're just a football fan and Cavalier fan and like close games and interesting games and stressful games, I guess for lots of us, we've had those this year. You know, when you open up with Kenton, was really a close game for quite a while. Clinton Massey was a tight ball game. Fort Recovery, we were down by 10 with 3 minutes to go. Anna was down on the 1 yard line with a minute to go. St. Henry, first game with St. Henry was closer than what the score indicated. Certainly then we could play Marion and win that game in double overtime. And again, then last week, of course, with St. Henry, it came down to a 20-19 score. And like we've said so many times, and I've tell our players at some point, almost every week, how important the special teams have become and are, and always have been, I guess. And fortunately, we have always had a good kicker, and so that has really helped us over the years win lots of football games. So the St. Henry game, wow, what two very, very balanced teams. And if you watch the highlights or followed the game at all, it had to be 20-mile-an-hour winds and probably, I don't know, in the teens, probably wind chill. So it was a cold, and it would have been really tough to throw. Fortunately, our guys on offense did a great job of running the ball. So we had over 200 yards rushing, and Mitch Niekamp had about 150, 60 of those. And between Jake Hemmelgarn and Ben Wenning, had the other 50, 60. So we did a really good job running the ball, and then defensively, they had one really long run for a play down to about the 2. But otherwise, we did a good job of making them work, and we got a couple turnovers. We caused one fumble when they were on about our 15-yard line, and we ended the game with an interception by Cole Frilling. So, for the fans, it was an exciting game. It was a competitive game. It was a hard-nosed, really a hard-nosed football game. A lot of guys, I'm sure, are sore. St. Henry has quite a few guys playing both ways, so I'm sure they had a bunch of guys sore and beat up. And then, our guys are getting a bunch of rest this week because, like I said, we've toned down the hitting and practices aren't as long because we want them fresh. So St. Henry, that was a really good win for us, bouncing back after the defeat to them, and of course we're moving on in the playoffs, which leads us to our second round with Marion Local again, just like last year in the regional finals, same spot at Sydney, and as you know, it was a double overtime victory for us in the first round. Turnovers was probably the biggest bonus for us, I guess. We created 5 turnovers and so we recovered a couple fumbles and had 3 interceptions in that game. So again, a very balanced game. Interestingly enough, they're probably their strength of their team is their skill guys with a quarterback and a couple good receivers and a good tailback, and our skill guys we feel like are really good too. So it's a good matchup between their skill guys and our skill guys, and so we'll see how that matchup pans out. But also then of course you got to look at the front guys with the front 7 of both of Marion's guys and our guys, and so looks to be a fun game and an exciting game, hopefully, and hopefully the Cavs come out with a victory. It's going to be a battle, and I'm sure they're motivated and want to continue their season and certainly avenge, I guess, that loss that we put on them in week 10. So we're playing really close together. So at this point, not a whole lot of changes probably for either team, but maybe a few little, we call them tweaks. I guess we tweak this and try to find something new that we can exploit maybe, or find something that will help us offensively or defensively. So Marion Local at Sidney Friday night, and they're all 7 o'clock games now. So if you plan on coming to the game, we are the home team, so we'll have the home stands, and so that's good for us. So instead of senior spotlight, I hit all those guys 2 weeks ago or throughout the year, and then I hit the coaches last week. So some of the guys that have really helped our program over the year in such a way that saves so much time for us, and hopefully they still enjoy it and being around the program. But we have about 4 or 5 stat guys that do a great job, and Chris Crone is kind of the head of that, along with Rod Stogler, along with Chris's son Jonathan, John Yoder, and Gary Maston. Those guys have been with us ever since John took over, especially Gary, Rod, and Chris have been with us since John, like I said, since John took over. And man, it saves so much time for all of us as coaches, and they're so accurate and really enjoy it and really get into it. And so I appreciate that that those guys helping us out there. Mike Spriggs, as you know, does the Cav football and is doing our interview right now, and does our highlight films at the end of the year. And each week he puts together the highlight tape that all of us enjoy on the Cav football, and then he puts it all together there at the end of the year for the kids. Scott Kramer does our sideline filming, and so he's done a great job. Our golf outing with those young players from a few years ago. Bought us a new camera this year, a really nice high def camera. So that's made things really great for us to see things. So Scott Kramer, appreciate his help. And then Rob Schmidt does our end zone camera. Rob, as you know, is our wrestling coach, and he drives one of our buses, and so he does a great job with just going to the game and does our sideline. And Rob also drives the bus, along with Merle Hine and Scott Dippold, our bus drivers all the time. So appreciative of all those guys spending all that time with us, and they're not making any money off this. So much appreciated, fellas. Another side note here: Eric Goodwin was awarded the Athletic Director of the Year in the state of Ohio. So that's awesome. I'm not sure if there were a couple guys that got that, but I know Eric was one of them. So much appreciated all the work Eric does, and puts in so much time with tournaments and all the things he does, certainly for our school, but all the tournaments he puts on and hosts tournaments. So congratulations, Eric, on that award there. So 7 o'clock Friday night versus Marion Local at Sidney. Go Cavs.